So what's the difference between a Marine and all the other areas of the military?
Okay, Wesley, I got to get away from Wesley before you got to kick me here.
Don't kick him, Wesley. Don't kick him.
Where the brass knuckles at? Where are the brass knuckles?
We go get him. That's right. We have the amazing Dick Taylor here, the only guy who gets up at 4:30 in the morning to hike, probably eat rabbits from the mountains or something. I don't know. But put out jokes. I mean, and then he goes on TV shows and fakes his retirement. We'll talk more about that later. But we also have Wesley Barrientos here. Whoa, Wesley Leon-Barrientos. Hey, correction.
Hey.
Helping me today. And really, I kind of feel special because these guys are real warriors, and I get to play one today. I get to play one. I get to play with you guys. But it's like, I think sometimes the value that you guys have as veterans is kind of lost in the perspective of today's world. And so hopefully you guys can gain some of that, and it'll probably make you laugh what they think of and laugh at, and it might scare you a little bit too, but just be ready. Their jokes do matter. But Wesley, you got the first question for Dick today.
Yeah. Oh, I got to say, I got to warn people, we might bicker and, talk trash to each other, but it's all love, we love each other. Dick was a Marine, I was Army, so, it's okay. It's love, So my first question, Dick, is what's something people don't know about you?
Well, probably the biggest thing, let's see, people that don't, what they would not know about me.
Yeah.
I did some time in the Marine Corps down in the Amazon jungle.
What?
I trained with the Brazilian Marine Corps.
I thought you said you were going to do some time in jail or something.
Yeah, when I
really?
He did some time. I'm like, all right. Oh, the Marine Corps, same thing.
Yes, I had people around me they were given a choice of going to the Marine Corps or going to jail.
Oh
Yeah, so that's one thing, and then probably the other thing is a lot of people don't know I'm a pyrotechnician, so I work for a company that does professional fireworks shows. It's called Pyro Spectaculars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you were telling me about that. And this year was like the first year you didn't go and do the show with them.
We do a show called the Big Bay Boom down in San Diego, the biggest fireworks show west of the Mississippi. 4 barges firing ordnance simultaneously out of San Diego Bay, about 13,000 pounds of ordnance.
Holy
That's
moly.
big. It's a big show. So I decided to leave on a high note. No deaths, no maimings, and no major malfunctions.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. That's wild. And if you guys have questions or any comments on our show, feel free to go on Facebook, Instagram, and I have one big announcement for you guys. You can also find us finally on Spotify. We are a legitimate podcast now, not just a film podcast, but Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, and a couple other places. Wherever you find a podcast, you will find The Real Lunch Break now. All right, so Dick, I've known you for a couple years. I actually built a little koi pond in his backyard. I've ridden mountain bikes with your son, and he said, "You know my dad," and I was like, "How do I know your dad?" He's like, "Yeah, you built him a pond." So his son is a law enforcement officer, right?
He's a CHP motor officer. Yep.
Yeah. So when you get a ticket,
Looks like me, but taller.
Yeah. And he's actually a really good cyclist as well.
That he is.
I will say that. That's for you, okay? But also, I think there's something that maybe they don't know about you that I think is pretty interesting. Because we were talking right before the show, and you said, and I don't know how to word this, but so at a very young age, you were able to drive a vehicle and shoot guns.
Yeah, that got me hooked on both. So my love for driving and my love for firearms. When I was a wee lad, 6 years old, is probably as
6 years
young
old.
as I remember, our family owned some property right where Wind Wolves Preserve is now. Wow. And so as a kid, I got to jump off boulders and kick dirt, and my dad let me drive a Ford pickup, and he even put wooden blocks and with rubber bands on the pedals so I could reach.
That's awesome.
And taught me the proper use of firearms. I had a little Remington 22 bolt action rifle that we would shoot
good.
squirrels, shoot squirrels with, and drive all over the place. Learn how to shift a vehicle, how to shift a transmission, which a lot of kids now don't even know how to do that.
Did you ever shoot anything that you probably shouldn't have shot?
Yeah, you know what? I shot a rabbit one time, and I felt bad. I've shot rabbits before to eat them, and I'm not like a hunter guy, and I don't have a problem with hunting it. I'm just not that kind of guy. And this poor thing started squealing. This bunny rabbit.
Oh yeah, they're loud when you shoot them and they squeal.
So I thought, you know what? I'd just stick with squirrels and just be done with them in one shot.
Yeah.
The bunny didn't want to go right away.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, when I was a kid too, I was on Rankin Ranch, but I was not 6. I was my parents were very responsible. I was 9, and my grandfather handed me a 22 rifle. It wasn't a bolt action; it was a 22. But I remember, we used to shoot it at the squirrels. I mean, they hate squirrels at ranches because.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. They want us to decimate the squirrel population because they dig holes and the cattle step in them, and then the cattle get boogered up because they step and mess up their feet. And
Oh yeah, big time. What about you, Wesley? When's the first time you shot a gun?
I was around, I want to say around 6 or 7 as well. I was in Guatemala. I was born and raised over there until I was 10 years old, and I came here. And my dad came with a friend, and my uncle were there, and they started shooting just oranges and stuff off the tree, and all of a sudden I started shooting the birds off. No, stop! So I'm like, all right.
Wow. Yeah. When you shoot the birds, my grandpa got me for that too. I was shooting at a bird, and he's like, "You gonna eat that bird?" And I was like, "No, I'm just trying to kill it. Just trying to get it out of the sky, Grandpa." And he's like, "No, if you're not gonna eat it, don't shoot it." Yeah, that I would have been horrible too because it was a crow, so it would have tasted bad.
Thanks for not asking if my rifle was a musket loader, too.
Black powder or
flintlock.
Yeah, you do. How many miles do you hike in the morning?
I think we only hike about maybe 4 or 5 miles. Me and a guy by the name of Steve Sanders, we go out by Hart Park and hike in those hills up above there. Usually get to see the sunrise. A lot of people miss out on that. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I got to see it yesterday for the first time in a while. And you're right. The sunrise in that side of town is great.
Yeah, I love it. In the wintertime, it's a little hard because you're out there using a headlamp because at 5:30 it's pitch black. But like right now, it's light. Yeah.
Yeah, 5:15, 5:30, it comes up. Good.
Yeah.
All right, Wesley, there you go.
All right. You're a Marine, so I want to know what made you go into Marines instead of the Army. Like, why did you downgrade there?
How do
What made you downgrade?
Okay, we all know, Wesley, I have this love for crayons. Right? And Marines are famous, Marine and Army are famous for badgering back and forth about saying we're crayon eaters. By the way, green is probably my most preferred flavor. But so it's a good story. I ended up, what's the word I'm looking for? I crashed my current wife's New Year's Eve party. New Year's Eve, 1974, and at that party, a guy took me to a guy by the name of Joe Singletary, and we were going to go in the Army, and he says, "Hey, we're going to go to this place, this girl I know," and her parents said it was okay to have a party. So, but at this party were 3 Marines, and they were in their Deltas, or I forget what they were wearing, but anyway, and I'm like, dang, and they're like, "Why do you want to go in the Army?" And I said, "Well, I want to go into infantry or tanks or something." They said, "Well, you can do that in the Marine Corps." I said, "Yeah, but the Marine Corps is hard. I don't know that I'm cut out for that." "Oh, yeah, you'll be fine." And they can do that. And so there was 3 guys, Tom Molinar, Terry Fee, and Bill Cadwallader, and they were all already currently in the Marine Corps. Actually, they were second lieutenants. And they convinced me to go in that. Joe had already signed up for delayed entry to go in the Army, and he went off in the Army and went to South Korea to the DMZ, and I ended up going in the Marine Corps, went through boot camp, and then went to the Middle East on a ship for a couple of years. Wow. But yeah, so that was it. My dad, I remember my dad was kind of disappointed. He was an Army Air Corps guy, later became the Air Force. When I told him, "Hey, Dad, I'm going in the Marine Corps," he's like, "What?"
So for guys like me. So what's the difference between a Marine and all the other areas of the military?
Okay, Wesley, I gotta get away from Wesley. You're gonna kick me here.
Don't kick him, Wesley. Don't
Where's
kick
the-
him.
Where the brass knuckles at? Where are the brass knuckles?
We go get him.
So both the Army and the Marine Corps have long old roots in our nation.
The Army's is longer, but yeah,
That's right. That's right. Army's been around since 1775. So is the Marine Corps. The Army beat us by a couple of months. We were formed by an act, by a declaration of the Continental Congress.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1775. Actually, a few months before the country was even created. So the Army was created. The Marine Corps. Actually, the Navy.
Wow.
And then the Navy was disbanded by Congress for a couple of months. So then the Marine Corps, that's why when you see the flags lined up, you have Army, Marine Corps, and then Navy, because the Navy lost its place because they in this legal kind of bad legal thing, they got...
So on the military totem pole,
yeah.
there's the what first?
Okay, well, we're talking chronological or totem pole? Totem pole, I was going to say Marine
there's a
Corps.
hierarchy.
So both the Army and Marine Corps have similar roles. The Marine Corps is a much smaller unit. Originally started as an amphibious. You have Marines on Navy ships as sharpshooters, and they board ships when they'd smash into another, British ship or an enemy. But both the Army and the Marine Corps have special forces. Like guys that do special ops. I wasn't a special ops. I was infantry. I was a mortar guy, firing they call it the company commander's artillery. 81 millimeter mortar. That's why I don't hear out of Wesley's side of my head. But it's Army and Marine Corps very similar. Marine Corps does a lot more rapid response stuff. Army kind of gets stuck with some of the long standing dug-in battles over time. In both the Army and Marine Corps, if you look at their battle streamers on their flags, Wesley and I both have just an incredible heritage of men and women that have served before us.
That's awesome.
I don't even feel worthy to breathe the same air as some of those people.
Yeah. That's really cool. So there is a difference. So don't ever confuse it. So when you
soldier, Marine.
So when you say thank you for your service, it might be a little different for a Marine than an Army guy.
Just slightly.
I think it's funny. I never even knew there was a thing. I know we have a veterans study that it's like a discipleship thing that we do. And whenever we get a Navy man, they always give him a hard time. And I'm all, why is it? But
the Air Force is the worst. See, we're talking about Marine Corps and Army, and we're sleeping on the ground in foxholes and stuff. And the Navy, they got on a ship at sea. Air Force, it's like they got to figure out how to use the air conditioning in the room that they're in, how to handle the control for the AC.
That's funny. That's funny.
One thing that he didn't mention, that he conveniently forgot to mention is that the Marine Corps is owned by the Navy.
Oh, yes.
So he
good point. So actually, good point. Wesley. So the Marine Corps is, and I love this when there's a
next UFC fight.
So when you have the Navy and the Marine Corps around, I always love doing this to like your sailor friend. I'll say, people don't realize many people don't realize that the Marine Corps is actually a part of it's part of the Department of the Navy. Yeah, and I say, that's the men's department.
Oh my gosh. We're going to get in trouble. Okay. All right, let's move on to the jokes. All right. So I know that you have a Facebook account, and that's kind of how I know you've been on other platforms doing shows. You've filled in for movie stars and KUZZ. Not movie stars. But you've done
Kevin Bacon. See?
Yeah. You do other shows, but also you do something pretty unique, and that is like if you're up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, there's usually a joke on your page, and there's like I don't know.
Am I up that early? I don't know if I'm up that. I don't know if I'm posting jokes that early. Maybe
I don't know.
Say I am. Okay.
I don't know. I see some jokes early in the morning, and yours are the ones on there.
All right.
But like, where did you get that idea? Because I think it's great. Like, if somebody could, like, I try to post encouraging things early in the morning, but a joke, it's kind of like lightens it up in the morning.
I think that's part of it. I think a lot of us, and we kind of learn a lot of this in the military. Humor is very therapeutic, and when you're in very traumatic times, humor really helps. And whether it's politics in the country or military or in some high stress environment, humor really helps. Just kind of brings you back down. And most of the jokes that I retell, because I mostly steal other individuals' jokes, like my grandkids. I steal their jokes and my grandkids' friends. But they're all like, we all are familiar with like dad jokes. Just PG rated. They're like, here's one. Did you hear the one about did you hear about the two silkworms that were in a race?
No.
Yeah, they ended up in a tie.
See what I'm talking about? Sometimes in the morning I gotta be like, is that a joke? Or is that a real thing? No, that's great. That is good. Here we go.
No.
So this topic is what I was talking about earlier. Wesley asked him about his retirement.
So a few years ago, I remember doing a retirement speech for you, presentation at a Winter Hills Fun event. And, like, take Taylor's retirement. I'm like, no, he's not. And they're like, yeah. Like, can you do a speech? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I guess. I mean, he's not going anywhere. So about your fake retirement, how many fake retirements do you have?
Fake retirement, that's a good way to put
That's
it.
right.
Well, see, I retired from my last gig with the county. I retired in 2018, and then but like you, I serve on a few things here and there that I do, and how many fake retirements. I never looked at it that way.
Well, you go on TV and you be like, I'm retiring. I will from now on drive a Cadillac.
On the slow lane.
Yeah, a slow lane with the top down.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, and then I see you out in the foothills with devil pups or,
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, and you guys will get there someday. But I didn't make this up. I stole this from somebody else also, and that is they say that you get to a certain point in life and you don't want to let the old man in. I'm trying not to let the old man in, because that old man's always going to try to get inside, and we all know people that are our age or around our age, and you look and you're thinking like, man, and I hate it when people say, hey, guess how old I am, and they look like they're like 100, and you don't want to say, hey, you look like you're 100, but you're really only like 40 something. But I think that's a lot of it, and I don't ever want to. At some point in time, I'm sure I'm going to get up in the morning and not be able to go hike, or be able to put my shoes on. And I don't ever want to regret and look back someday when I'm not able to do that and say, I wish I would have when I could. Because, it's not a lot of fun sometimes getting up at 4 something in the morning and going. And I have my hiking buddy, Steve, that we go with. So I think that's a good thing. You have somebody that's a motivator for you to go. Because it's hard if you can do it yourself. There's too many reasons to make excuses to not go. Yeah. But you got somebody that kind of help drive you. It's like, okay, dude. Because you don't want to let them down.
Yeah. It's like a battle buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with all the seeds that you're planting around the county and everywhere that you're going, have you had the time to look at it and be like, man, like this kid is there because, or I met this kid and they're over here now?
From a purely selfish standpoint, Wesley, I have, and it's fun to watch. Even if I had just a minuscule, just super small cog in that wheel of watching some young person that, I was just thinking of this the other day. There's a brother and sister that their last name is Guzman out of Arvin. And they went through devil pups, had no desire to go in the military at all. Both of them just graduated, the daughter from Annapolis. So now she's a Navy officer, and she's in the nuclear program. So she's not just that, but she's a super brainy. And the brother, it's Carla Guzman and Orlando Guzman. The brother graduated from UCLA from the Air Force ROTC. Now he's a second lieutenant as an engineer at Wright-Patterson Air Base. So these two young people out of Arvin.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to watch. Or somebody that's maybe not super fit. Maybe they're not fast or not, they're not super slender. They're kind of big. And you see them like, I just got somebody the other day, a young lady, Haley Hutton, that is now she just got commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army in armor. Wow. And it's fun to watch that because you realize, they might not have, a lot of times kids don't realize what's just beyond the block where they live on. and
Yeah.
all the stupid stuff that their silly friends do. And some of their friends are going to be doing silly, dumb stuff for the rest of their lives, but they can go on and do great things. And I think all of us also have that little man inside of you that's always telling you that you're not good enough and that you're not fast enough or you're not smart enough. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
listen to that guy. And just
Yeah.
keep on doing, because everybody's got those same self-doubts. And I think that's the challenge with all of us, is just to not just let that, anchor you down and drag you
Wow.
back. Yeah.
That's good, Dick. Cut right there. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I was gonna ask, so that found the organization that you're talking about, because I've seen them in the foothills. You'll see a bunch of kids, and then you'll see two guys screaming and yelling at them, "Stop being pansy!" No, they don't say stuff like that. But you'll see them carrying a flag over at the Bluffs, maybe, or even Hart Park area. What is that organization?
So it's the Devil Pups Youth Program for America, and it's for boys and girls aged 14 to 17.
Wow.
Started back in 1954 as a result of a flag burning incident down at a high school in L.A. And some Marines observed this going on, and they decided, hey, there's got to be a better way for kids to be teenagers, spend their summers and doing dumb stuff like that. You figure there was flag burning going on even in the 50s. So they had some connections, and this goes like what we were talking about before the show. A lot of life is about relationships. And so there were these relationships, these connections they had with some of the people on base. So they said, hey, maybe we could take a group of kids, high school kids, down to Camp Pendleton, and the Marines will teach them good citizenship, teamwork, responsibility, being, helping out your fellow man, and it's been going ever since. So Kern County, we send kids every year. Matter of fact, we've got a group down there right now this week of, I don't know when this is going to rebroadcast, but
In a couple weeks, it'll broadcast.
so this year they're down there. Kern County's down there from July 16th to July 23rd, and they'll graduate on the 23rd. And some of them get to go back. They don't have their cell phones the whole time they're down there, which is like, ooh, that's a deal breaker for
Wow,
some people.
that's amazing right there. You
Yeah.
got a bunch of teenagers to give up their cell phones.
Oh yeah. So and it's funny because, and I tell parents this before we start. I said it's going to annoy you, because the same things you've been telling your kid, your 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid for all those years, they're going to go down there and be some random Marine Corps sergeant they've never met before that's going to say the exact same thing, and they're going to look at the parent and think, oh God, they're rolling their eyes, and they think mom and dad's dumb, and they don't know what they're talking about. And then they're going to listen to that person and think, wow, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So
yeah.
and it happens all the time. Or they're going to come back and say, oh, Mr. Taylor told me that this particular thing. And they're going to think, okay, dope. I've been telling you that for 14 years.
But I think that's the benefits of
Yeah.
programs like that. And I think in life too, like you're not going to say everything that needs to be said, and if you do say it, they'll probably hear it from somebody else better. When
Yeah.
it comes to kids, I know for me, the things that I really need to hear in my life, it's not been my parents that have said it, it's somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
And I listened way better
Oh, yeah.
than if my parents would have said it anyway, you know.
Right.
So that
It has a different impact. So it's rewarding just to watch these young people just to grow and kind of come out of their shell. This time we've got some kids out of Delano and McFarland, and there's some boys out of Ridgecrest.
You ever go to Stockdale, the country club, and get some of those kids?
Hey, Stockdale High School.
I think the Air Force does that.
Yeah, everybody is equally worthless down there. So there's no, you don't get any rank because you're from a certain part of town.
From your Stockdale. I'm from Stockdale, dude. I can't do that many push-ups. Oh man, that's good. That is good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good, and I think it's fun, and it's just about the time that I think that we're done for as a country with regard to kids coming up and not being all logy and lazy and everything. That we get a group of these kids that go through Devil Pups and realize there's hope. So Devil Pups is that program, and then we have a local nonprofit that's called Patriots of Kern. That is our actual funding mechanism. That we're a 501c3.
Oh,
that
awesome.
we go and that's how we get funding and support the program.
And if
'cause we
people
pay.
want to give to how do they do that?
They can. We have a Facebook page. If you were to Google
Okay.
Patriots of Kern, We're working on ways for people to do what is it called? A square, you know, the thing you do on your phone.
Oh yeah,
with
the
a
little
credit card.
scan thing.
For
Yeah.
people, we try to garner donations from people, and it's all tax deductible.
Okay,
And
that's
we,
good.
you know, we're registered with the IRS, so. But it's good. They could either donate to the main organization, which covers California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, including some of the tribal nations. We have Apache and Navajo kids that come to this camp as well. But we concentrate mostly on Kern County and the
good.
team out of Kern County.
So you can find it on Facebook. Maybe we'll put a link right here. Follow that link, or we'll put it in the comments. But it's been awesome to have you on the show, Dick. You too, Wesley.
Thanks.
I mean,
Thanks,
your
Wesley.
guys' perspectives. I didn't think we were going to dive into life like that.
Mm.
And that's great because people need to know that about teenagers and kids. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with that if you were going to say, I want you to know this?
Yeah, I think the older I get, the more I realize that my dad was right, and my mom too, in a lot of areas, and that is, and it's stuff we all know anyway. But you just got to think about it, especially today, and that's always treat people the way you'd want to be treated, and never just assume because you see somebody doing something that you know why they're doing it.
Oh yeah.
And also the fact that we can have different political views, and it doesn't mean we got to be screaming and yelling at each other. We can disagree, but we can still have all kinds of fun and have parties and enjoy activities and enjoy the outdoors. And there's a love of life. And I don't ever want to be remembered as a cranky old man. I just want to be remembered as somebody that enjoyed life to the fullest and tried what little I could to help others.
And faked his retirement multiple times. Fake news.
Fake news.
Dick's retiring. This is his announcement today.
And that reminds me. So out at CALM at the California Living Museum, so they have some different animals around there. They were going to add some wildebeest. And Adrian's looking at me like, what?
What?
And so, they have like the mountain sheep with the big horns and stuff. Well, they have some big, but they weren't able to get a type of wildebeest. There's an animal that is it's a GNU, that's how you spell it. Oh, so anyway, they weren't able to order them in yet because they're back ordered or something. So they have some
From China?
They've got some big cutouts of them out there now. So they're just fake news.
Oh, man. We want to give a special thank you to MLH Production, to Mike Harvey, for our technical and awesome man, Alex Howie, who's here today, making this happen while Mike Harvey and Tom are on vacation. We want to thank our creative consultants, Tessa Touchstone, Taylor Touchstone, and since Kyle said it last time for himself, Adrian Monge. And I really want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you,
Wesley. And I'm sure you guys hear all the time about thank you guys for your service, but what you guys do in our community now is even just as important. So thank you for that.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have a great day.